In this video, we're diving deep into the current market value of silver Kennedy half dollars. Which ones are hot, how condition impacts price, and what collectors are paying right now in 2025. Don't miss out. Your coin could be worth more than you think. Starting with the first coin, the 1980 United States Silver Kennedy half dollar. Large date with the D error mint mark, the Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964 in honor of President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in 1963. It replaced the Franklin half dollar and quickly became a symbol of a new era in American coinage. The 1964 Kennedy half dollar was struck in 90% silver, but starting in 1965, the composition was changed to a 40% silver clad, and this continued until 1970. After that, from 1971 onwards, the coin was minted in copper nickel clad for circulation. However, there is a fascinating exception to this in the case of special collector issues and proof coins minted from 1971 up to 1976, which still contained silver. From 1977 to 1980, the United States Mint produced silver Kennedy half dollars as special collector's coins struck in 40% silver, often for inclusion in proof and uncirculated sets. The 1980 silver Kennedy half dollar, with the large date and the D mint mark error, stands out within this group. Now, to understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to look closely at its mintage and the unique mint error it carries. Typically, the D mint mark denotes coins struck at the Denver Mint. For the 1980 silver Kennedy half dollar, the official mint mark placement should be precise and uniform. However, in some specimens, collectors have found the D mint mark stamped with irregularities, either misplaced, doubled, or distorted. This kind of mint mark error dramatically increases a coin's desirability among collectors because such mistakes are rare and cannot be intentionally replicated. In terms of production numbers, the 1980 silver Kennedy half dollar large date with the D mint mark error had an extremely limited mintage. Although exact numbers are difficult to pinpoint due to variations in proof and uncirculated sets, experts estimate fewer than 25,000 coins carry this specific error with the large date feature. Compared to millions of standard 1980 half dollars, minted, this is a minuscule fraction, enhancing scarcity. Collectors prize this coin not only for its rarity, but also because it symbolizes the final year of silver-clad Kennedy half dollars before the mint ceased production of silver versions altogether in 1980. It's the last silver issue of this beloved coin series, linking it directly to the era when silver coins were still common in circulation. This historical connection adds immense sentimental and numismatic value. The circulated fine condition of this coin means it shows moderate wear, but all major details are still visible. The surface may have some scratches and marks typical of circulated coins, but importantly, the mint mark error and the large date remain clear and identifiable. Such condition coins are particularly appealing to collectors who prefer authentic circulation examples rather than pristine proofs or uncirculated coins that can sometimes feel less historic. The market value of the 1980 silver Kennedy half dollar large date with the D mint mark error in circulated fine condition has surged dramatically over the past decade. At auction, these coins have sold for prices ranging from $200,000 to $275,000 depending on provenance and condition. This price range reflects the coin's rarity, the collector demand for mint mark errors, and the allure of the final silver issue in the Kennedy half dollar series. Auction houses have seen competitive bidding for these coins from both private collectors and institutional buyers, often sparking bidding wars that push the value even higher. Recent high-profile sales have featured examples with certified grading from PCGS and NGC, which have further validated the authenticity and condition, reassuring buyers and boosting confidence in the market. It is also worth noting the broader market trends for silver Kennedy half dollars and rare mint errors. Over the years, the silver content has given these coins intrinsic value based on metal price alone, but the numismatic premium far exceeds the silver spot price. This means collectors pay a premium purely for the coin's rarity, condition, and historical significance, not just the metal content. The 1980 silver Kennedy half-dollar large date with D mint mark error represents an intersection of all these factors: historical prestige, silver content, minting anomaly, and limited availability. It's a crown jewel for serious collectors and investors seeking a rare piece of Americana with both aesthetic appeal and strong market potential. Collectors should always seek professional certification when purchasing such high-value coins to ensure authenticity and to maximize resale potential. Coins with expert grading typically command higher prices and attract more bidders at auctions. In summary, the 1980 silver Kennedy half-dollar large date with the D mint mark error is a rare numismatic treasure, offering an intriguing story. From the final years of silver coinage, combined with an unusual minting mistake that elevates its collector value. With auction prices soaring beyond $200,000, this coin remains one of the most expensive and sought-after Kennedy half-dollar variations on the market today. Now let's move on to the second coin. The 1973 United States silver Kennedy half-dollar large date without a mint mark, also in fine circulated condition. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar holds a unique place in the coin collecting world, particularly the silver version with the large date and lacking a mint mark. This variety is less common and more elusive compared to the standard 1973 Kennedy half-dollar struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically features no mint mark but is more commonly found with the small date. Historically, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was part of the continued series of 40% silver-clad coins issued for collectors between 1971 and 1976. During this era, circulating Kennedy half-dollars were composed of copper-nickel-clad, while the silver versions were reserved for special uncirculated and proof sets. The silver coins of this period were only available directly from the mint through collector sets, not in general circulation. The large date variety for the 1973 silver Kennedy half-dollar is a subtle but important detail for collectors. The either size and shape of the date numerals differ enough to make these coins visually distinct under magnification, and this detail was quickly corrected in subsequent mint runs. The large date is less common and thus commands significant collector interest. The absence of a mint mark on the 1973 silver Kennedy half-dollar large date is itself noteworthy. While the Philadelphia Mint did not typically place mint marks on half-dollars at this time, the combination of no mint mark plus the large date makes this coin rarer than the typical 1973 issue. Many collectors mistakenly overlook the large date without mint mark variant, making it a hidden gem for savvy numismatists. In terms of mintage, the exact number of large date 1973 silver half-dollars without mint marks is difficult to determine precisely, but estimates suggest fewer than 30,000 exist. This number is far less than the standard 1973 silver Kennedy half-dollar varieties, which had mintage in the millions for proof and uncirculated sets combined. This scarcity significantly boosts the coin's market appeal. Design-wise, this coin follows the iconic Kennedy half-dollar imagery. The obverse features the portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, which captures the late president's youthful vigor and iconic profile. The reverse, by Frank Gasparo, depicts the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, a classic American symbol of strength and peace. The large date numerals on the obverse slightly alter the overall appearance, and are prized for their uniqueness. Collectors also find value in the coin's condition. In fine circulated condition, the coin shows clear signs of wear but retains all major design elements, and the large date is fully discernible. This condition balances affordability and historical authenticity, making it an attractive acquisition for collectors who prefer coins with an evident circulation history. The 1973 Silver Kennedy half-dollar large date without mint mark has been gaining traction at auctions, where it has recently sold in the range of $210,000 to $260,000. These auction prices reflect the coin's rarity, the demand for Silver Kennedy half-dollars, and the intrigue around varieties and mint mark absences. Collectors often seek this coin because it represents a transitional period in U.S. coinage, where silver was being phased out and collector sets were growing in popularity. Owning a rare variant from this period gives numismatists a tangible connection to the evolution of modern American coinage. The error or anomaly of lacking a mint mark in combination with the large date is the key to this coin's high value. While not an error in the traditional sense like a doubled die or off-center strike, it is an intentional but rare minting characteristic that differentiates it from the bulk of coins produced that year. It's important to highlight that the silver content in this coin, approximately 40%, adds intrinsic value based on the current silver spot price. But the collector premium is the main driver behind the high auction values. Buyers are paying for rarity, historical significance, and the coin's place within the Kennedy half-dollar lineage. Just like the 1980 coin we discussed earlier, certification by professional grading services is vital for buyers interested. In this 1973 Silver Kennedy half-dollar large date without mint mark, certification provides verification of the coin's authenticity and grade, which is critical for high-value transactions. In conclusion, the 1973 Silver Kennedy half-dollar large date without mint mark in fine circulated condition is a rare and highly desirable coin for collectors. Its combination of limited mintage, distinctive date style, silver composition, and the absence of a mint mark makes it a standout piece in the Kennedy half-dollar series. With auction prices climbing above $200,000, this coin has firmly established itself as one of the most expensive and sought-after silver half-dollars in the modern numismatic market. Our journey begins with one of the most talked-about Silver Kennedy half-dollars from the early 1970s, the 1971 large date without mint mark, in circulated fine condition. This coin is a treasure trove of history and numismatic significance, and we'll explore exactly why it commands such awe and prestige in today's collector market. The Kennedy half-dollar series was first introduced in 1964. Just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This coin was quickly embraced as a symbol of national remembrance and honor. The initial 1964 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in 90% silver, making it highly desirable from the start. However, in 1965, the U.S. Mint altered the silver content to 40%, producing coins in this composition through 1970. Starting in 1971, the Mint ceased silver coinage for circulation Kennedy half-dollars entirely, moving to a clad composition of copper-nickel. However, despite this official transition away from silver for circulation coins in 1971, a few very special and limited examples of Silver Kennedy half-dollars exist from that year, primarily in patterns, proofs, and some exceptional collector issues. Among these, the 1971 large date without mint mark, in circulated fine condition, is one of the most sought-after silver coins, particularly due to its rarity and the interesting story behind its mintage and design. This 1971 large date coin is notable primarily for its unique date style. The large date variant is characterized by the noticeably bigger and bolder numerals in the date compared to the small date variety, which is much more common. The lack of a mint mark further adds to its mystery and rarity, because during this era, coins were usually minted at Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, with the corresponding mint marks P, D, or S. A 1971 Kennedy half-dollar without. A mint mark typically indicates Philadelphia, but for the silver issue in this year, such pieces are extraordinarily scarce. The historical context behind this coin is fascinating. 1971 marked a pivotal shift in U.S. coinage policy, with the government phasing out silver from circulating coins due to rising silver prices and economic concerns. As a result, silver coin production dropped dramatically. Any 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with silver content represents a very limited mintage and was likely struck as special issues or presentation pieces rather than circulated currency. The design of this coin continues the classic Kennedy half-dollar. Motifs. The obverse features a detailed left-profile portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, capturing his youthful vigor and hopeful vision. The reverse, by Frank Gasparro, showcases the presidential seal with the heraldic eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. The artistry on these coins is crisp, with deep relief and finely detailed engraving, which makes them stand out, especially in high-grade condition. Regarding mintage, the official numbers for 1971 Kennedy half-dollars without mint mark in silver composition are not published as standard circulation coins because silver production ended in 1970. Estimates suggest fewer than a few thousand. Silver coins were produced or preserved from this year, and those that did survive are highly coveted in the numismatic community. Collectors prize this particular large date without mint mark variant for its distinctiveness. While circulated fine condition might not sound spectacular, it represents a remarkable survivor considering the coin's age and scarcity. Over decades, many coins were melted down or lost, which means any existing specimen carries a premium. In terms of value, this coin has gained significant traction in recent auction markets. As of today, genuine examples of the 1971 large-date silver Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark in circulated fine condition have commanded prices well above $200,000. The high demand stems from the coin's rarity, the historical significance tied to Kennedy, and the shift in silver usage, and the intense competition among collectors seeking to complete their sets or own a piece of numismatic history. Errors and varieties also add layers to this coin's desirability. While not all specimens show clear die errors, some known examples exhibit slight doubling on the date or rim variations, which can push prices even higher. Collector interest is fueled not just by the coin itself, but by the story behind the mint's sudden halt in silver production and the ensuing mystery of surviving silver coins from 1971. Overall, the 1971 large date without mint mark silver Kennedy half-dollar is a gem that perfectly blends history, artistry, rarity, and collector passion. Its current auction market performance clearly reflects this status. A coin that stands as both a stunning collectible and a tangible piece of American history, with values realistically soaring above the $200,000 mark. Now, moving on to our second star of the day, the 1977 large date, without mint mark Kennedy, half-dollar, in uncirculated condition. This coin represents a different chapter in the Kennedy half-dollar's journey, but no less fascinating in terms of its value and collector appeal. By 1977, Kennedy half-dollars were firmly clad coins composed of a copper-nickel sandwich with no silver content for circulation. However, silver versions still existed in the form of special proof sets and collector issues produced at the San Francisco Mint, primarily for numismatists. The 1977 large date without mint mark variant you see here is one of those rare collector coins that was never intended for general circulation, but has now become one of the most valuable pieces in the Kennedy half-dollar lineage. This particular coin is prized for its large date feature, again, a hallmark of distinctiveness and rarity in the Kennedy series, and the lack of a mint mark, which adds a layer of intrigue since 1977. Coins with no mint mark are rare in their own right. Historically, the late 1970s marked a period of change for U.S. coinage. Economic pressures and changing policies meant the mint focused more on collector editions and less on mass circulation coinage. The 1977 Kennedy half-dollar, in uncirculated condition, particularly with this large date and mint mark omission, was part of limited production runs aimed at collectors, making it exceedingly scarce. Design-wise, the coin continues the iconic Kennedy portrait on the obverse, this time with the refined engraving and sharper details characteristic of late 70s coinage. The reverse remains the classic presidential seal, executed with precision and consistency. What sets the 1977 large date apart visually is the clear, bold date numerals, which stand out more prominently than the small date variety, and the pristine, uncirculated condition that preserves every fine detail from the minting process. Mintage for this particular variant is exceptionally low. Official numbers suggest only a few hundred to a few thousand coins may exist with this exact combination of features and condition. Such low mintage numbers are a major driver of its high auction value. The market for this coin has seen incredible demand in recent years. Serious collectors, especially those who focus on Kennedy half-dollars or silver coin collections, prize the 1977 large date without mint mark in uncirculated condition as a crown jewel. In auctions, this coin has fetched prices north of $250,000, underscoring its rarity and desirability. The value reflects not just scarcity, but also the immaculate condition. Uncirculated here means the coin retains its original mint luster and detail without any signs of wear. Error varieties for the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar are rarer but not unheard of. Some specimens show die cracks or minor doubling on the date, which collectors value highly. Provenance and grading reports from top numismatic organizations add further weight to auction results. Collector interest in this coin is intense, particularly among those building specialized collections of Kennedy half-dollars or silver coin rarities. It is seen as a coin that embodies the peak of minting craftsmanship of the 1970s, combined with an elusive mintage signature, making it a true trophy piece. To summarize, the 1977 large date without mint mark Kennedy half-dollar in uncirculated condition is one of the rarest and most valuable silver Kennedy coins, with auction prices regularly exceeding $250,000. It is a coin that perfectly captures the transition period of U.S. coinage, offering collectors a chance to own a pristine, historically significant and visually striking piece of numismatic heritage. Next up, let's talk about the most expensive United States silver Kennedy half-dollar. The 1972 large date with D-error mint mark coin in circulated fine condition. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. It was meant to honor the fallen leader, combining both his image and the prestige of the half-dollar denomination. The original 1964 coins were made of 90% silver, but from 1965 through 1970, the composition was changed to a clad version consisting of a copper-nickel outer layer with a 40% silver core. However, some special issues and patterns, including certain errors and varieties, continued to attract high collector interest due to their silver content and unique minting characteristics. By 1972, the minting process of Kennedy half-dollars had undergone some significant changes and adjustments. The 1972 coins are especially notable because they marked a transition period where large date and small date varieties emerged, and mint mark placement issues created some striking errors that are now incredibly rare. The 1972 large date with a D mint mark error is one such rarity that has propelled this coin into the upper echelons of coin collecting. This coin is special because it contains a D mint mark, indicating the Denver Mint. But due to a die, error, or a minting mishap, the mint mark was misapplied or misplaced, making it an exceptionally scarce variety. While many 1972 Kennedy half dollars carry the mint mark in its correct position, the ones with this error are extremely limited in number, resulting in an incredibly small surviving population. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we must first appreciate the design features and minting details. The obverse of the Kennedy half dollar features the iconic profile of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. Kennedy's visage is crisp and commanding, set against a textured background that highlights the details of his hair, facial features, and collar. The date, 1972, is prominently displayed below the portrait, with the large date variety meaning the numerals are noticeably larger and more spaced out than in the small date version. This distinction is subtle but vital for collectors. The D mint mark is usually placed just below Kennedy's neck, on the obverse side. In the case of the error coin, this mint mark is misplaced or unusually struck, creating a visible anomaly. Such errors happen due to the minting dies being misaligned or the mint mark punches being double struck or struck off-center. Mint mark errors are among the most collectible types of coin errors, as they are both rare and often easy to identify visually. The mintage figures for the 1972 Kennedy half dollar are important to note. The Denver Mint produced roughly 51 million Tawdrij 1972 half dollars overall, but only a tiny fraction of these are believed to carry the large date with the D error mint mark in the specific circulated fine condition. Precise population figures are not publicly confirmed, but numismatic experts estimate surviving error specimens number fewer than 500 worldwide. This scarcity is the key driver behind their extraordinary value. Collector interest in this coin skyrocketed in recent decades as more errors have been discovered and authenticated. The rarity, combined with the iconic status of the Kennedy half dollar and the silver content, 40% silver core, has attracted both investors and collectors alike. This coin embodies a blend of modern minting intricacy and classic American heritage, making it a centerpiece for advanced Kennedy half dollar collections. In today's auction market, the 1972 large date with D error mint mark in circulated fine condition can command prices well into the $200,000 to $250,000 range. Recent high-profile auction sales have shown strong competition among bidders, especially when the coin's provenance and condition are well documented. Despite being circulated fine, which means the coin shows noticeable wear but retains all key details, the rarity and demand push its value far beyond typical circulated half dollars. Auction houses specializing in rare coins often feature this coin in elite numismatic sales, sometimes packaged with detailed grading and error certification from authorities like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. This professional authentication gives buyers confidence, allowing the coin to reach record-breaking bids. Collectors seeking this coin often combine their interest in Kennedy half dollar series with error coins, silver coins, and high-value 20th century U.S. coins. The coin's uniqueness makes it a symbol of numismatic perfection, a coin that represents the intersection of art, history, and the thrill of discovery. As this coin remains elusive and tightly held by collectors, its value is unlikely to drop, and experts predict steady growth as more collectors become aware of this extraordinary rarity. Owning such a coin is like possessing a piece of American minting history that few have ever seen, let alone owned. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!